And it's not like every month you can go to your boss and be like, hey, everything's costing so much more. I'm having a harder time feeding my family. Can I have a raise to make up for that? Welcome, I'm Lena, and today I'm talking about what we are doing as a family to fight inflation. I'm sure that you have noticed that the price of everything seems to be skyrocketing, and you are not wrong. So inflation year over year, so from February 2021 to February 2022 is 7.9 overall, but that's just the general how much things have increased in price, but some items have really gotten a lot more expensive. This is the highest inflation that we have seen since 1982. Energy costs now about 25.6% more than it did last year about this time. That means you are paying 25% more for your gasoline and your natural gas and your energy that you're using to heat your home. So the main categories that I'm going to talk about are the ones that are affecting us the most: heat, food, and gasoline. And what can we do about fighting that inflation, and what can we can't do? If this is your first time finding my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you found this little part of the internet. On this channel, I talk all things frugal living, budgeting, savings, and basically money at home. If you want to be a part of the community, please hit that subscribe button. Sometimes I definitely feel a little bit powerless with these rising gas prices. Just because prices are rising, it doesn't mean I can increase my income exponentially to match the increases in pricing. And that is so frustrating. So I want to share some things that we are doing to fight this inflation. What can we do? And, asking for a raise every month is probably not going to work. We definitely can try to expand our income in other ways, but that takes time and energy, and sometimes that's not really a viable option. First up, let's talk about one that is really hurting: the gasoline. So it seems like every time we drive by the gas station, gas has increased at least 10 cents, and that is really painful to watch. So we are making sure that we are taking advantage of our reward systems. So Kroger has the branch of like Fred Meyer and QFC and stuff. If you spend money there and you use your reward card, you get gas points that lower the cost of gas. So we have been getting about $1 off on our gas every time we fill up, because we have been accruing those points at the grocery store, and then we are using them to lower our gas cost at the pump. So if you know of any gas reward systems, take advantage of that. Pay extra attention to that right now, because it really could save you quite a bit of money. So $1 a gallon can really start to add up. And adding on to that, we are trying to make sure that we are only buying gasoline when we absolutely need it. That means we are taking as much advantage as possible of our reward points, because if we get $1 off a gallon on that trip to the gas station, if our tank is so empty and we need 15 gallons, that really starts to add up. But if we filled up when we were at 3/4 of a tank, we couldn't take as much advantage of that rewards. We are also trying to strategize about which car we're taking. So we are blessed to be able to afford 2 cars. So we have a little commuter car, and then we have our SUV gas guzzler. So whenever we can, we are trying to use our commuter car because it has much better gas mileage and it costs less to drive wherever we're going. And especially since it's starting to warm up, even if we're going on a longer trip, we might be able to take the smaller, more efficient car, because we don't have to worry about snow or anything like that. This also makes me think about trips. We want to be strategic about our trips and see if we can get other people to come and visit us sometimes. More of a give and take sort of thing, like, okay, you're going to come and visit us this month, and next month we'll come and visit you. Not like we'll just keep going and visiting them all the time. So, because it's getting a lot more expensive to visit people. Next up is heating. How can we save on our energy bill for our house? We live in a house that was built in the 70s, so the insulation is not the best, which is pretty much a bummer. And our heating bill has been atrocious. Over $300. And I'm like, oh man, it's so painful. So I'm trying to figure out how can I save some money on my heating bill in a way that actually is impactful. So I've watched lots of YouTube videos about how to save on heat, and they're like, unplug everything all the time and you'll save $10 a year. And I think that's not really worth it, and it's not really worth my time to be running around every day unplugging everything so that I can save a little teeny bit of money. So I wanted to do something that would actually make a serious difference. And so what I've been trying to do is to turn off the whole heating system for the warmer parts of the day. So our thermostat is right next to the front door. So when anyone comes into the house, it's like the cold air rushes in and the heat turns on. So I'm trying to avoid that a little bit by turning off the heating system during the day. We're just turning it on when it gets a little bit cold, and it's definitely starting to warm up this spring, which makes this more of a viable option because, you know, if it's 6 degrees outside, the heating just needs to stay on all the time so we don't freeze. But now that it's warming up a little bit and it's warmer during the day, we can turn off the heat during the day a little bit. Every money saving hack you employ, you've got to weigh the pros and cons. Is it worth it to unplug all of your appliances all the time? To me, the answer is no, because I don't think it actually saves that much money. But if I could save a significant amount of money by turning off the heat altogether, yes, I think that could be worth it. So you're always weighing those options. Is this something that's going to be worth my time for the amount of money saved? The next area that is hurting us is food inflation. What do we do about food inflation? How can we fight food inflation? So this is not a category that we can stop spending money in. You know, we could stop going to the movies. We could stop going to restaurants, but we can't stop eating. We need to eat. So we are going to be spending money on food no matter what. We're just trying to strategize about how we could spend a little bit less on food, or how we could avoid the things that are inflating the most. So some foods are inflating at different rates than other foods. So meat prices have gone up by 14% since last year, and especially bacon and beef. So bacon is up 18% and beef is up by 19%. So meat has gotten a lot more expensive. So buying meat has become more painful for sure. So watching how much meat we are eating and where we are buying our meat and for what price has become more important. So one of the ways that I feel like I can make a big impact on our budget is to watch out for cheap veggies and buy and eat those cheap veggies. I don't want to give up on veggies, but if you buy raw vegetables at the store, they can be not that expensive. So yes, you have to cook them yourself. It's not prepped in any way, but it doesn't have to be that expensive to eat vegetables. So cabbage is the ultimate cheap vegetable. Carrots are also a great inexpensive vegetable. If you're really feeling it, you could get that 10-pound bag of carrots, and that could be quite cost effective. Broccoli often ends up being quite cost effective also. So you're looking at those prices and checking out which vegetables are on sale now, what is inexpensive. Also check out the zucchinis. Those might be inexpensive. So that's already 4 different kinds of veggies that you could get that would be pretty inexpensive. Frozen vegetables are often also pretty inexpensive, and you can get more variety that way. Like if you buy fresh green beans, they are so expensive. So we never buy fresh green beans because of the price. Also, bell peppers end up being really expensive. I love bok choy, but that definitely can be expensive also. So you're just looking at the prices, checking out which vegetables are price effective, and if I can keep that vegetable price lower, I can definitely fight inflation that way. To fight inflation, you can also try to stretch your meals. So this can only be taken so far before you get hungry or you lose a lot of nutrition. But how can we make the meal last longer? You can do that by adding carbs like rice. Serve each meal with rice so that everyone can fill up on some carbs and not eat at quite as much meat. Another protein-rich way to make your meat last longer would be to add beans. Especially dried beans are still quite inexpensive. You can get like one of those bags of beans at the store for about $1.50. Another great option for cutting food costs is to make soup. This can also help you cut down on food waste because a variety of things can go in soup. If you have a few extra broccoli stems and some frozen green beans and a few carrots, you can just keep everything from going bad, throw it in your soup, and then throw some beans in your soup while you're at it, and then you have a nutritious meal that can last a long time. For some reason, it seems like soups just last forever. And lastly, something we're considering as we think about how we're going to fight inflation is health. What can we not give up? What are our minimum standards of living, and also taking the long view on money? Having poor health is so expensive. So yes, maybe we could eat just rice and beans, no vegetables, no variety for a while, and that could be okay. But in the long run, if you don't take care of your body, it can be super expensive to get the treatments that you need. Illness is expensive. If you're not taking care of yourself and boosting your immune system with good nutrition, you will probably get sick more often, and that is expensive. Going to the doctor is expensive. The medications or vitamins that you might need are expensive. So keep that in mind as you're trying to save money, that sometimes you need to still spend the money. Also, time off from work is expensive. Having people come and help you or having to hire a bunch of babysitters is expensive. So just consider that when you are trying to cut costs. Let us know down in the comments how you guys are fighting inflation. Give us your tricks so that we can all benefit from those. Hit that like button so that YouTube knows that it was a good video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss future uploads. And if you are looking for a few more habits or ideas about how to save money fast, check out my What I Do Every Day to Save Fast, and that will be in the end card. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.